For anyone familiar with my channel, you've likely seen a video I covered based on a Resident Evil comic book story from the Wildstorm series where we see how the Raccoon City Zoo got infected. That story was called Mutant Menagerie, and it was created around June of 1998, and it revolved around a zookeeper by the name of Patrick Brady. He ended up fighting off the infected zoo animals, but in the end of that story, while he slept, he was attacked by an infected prairie dog. Now, I want to bring up a comparison between him and another character by the same name that was introduced in the Outbreak series. So the Outbreak scenario reviews are on their way for those who have been asking, as well as 10 awesome facts for each and every survivor of the Outbreak series. But before I get there, I wanted to talk about this character called Patrick Reyes. He makes an appearance in the Wild Things scenario, which is the first scenario of the second Outbreak game. But the thing about Patrick Reyes is that he works at the Raccoon City Zoo as a zookeeper. Now, this could just be a coincidence. I mean, there are two officers of the RPD that have the same name, that being officers Elliot and Elliot. So this could just be another zookeeper with the same first name. But wouldn't it be amazing if it actually is Patrick Brady, but they gave him a different last name? After all, even though the Outbreak games are meant to be canon to the original RE trilogy, there are very minimal changes that we can find throughout scenarios that revisit locations from the original trilogy, such as the Umbrella Lab in the Below Freezing Point scenario. And I feel like this could be one of those situations where they made small changes without really thinking about how it could leave more questions than answers. Patrick Brady is an underrated character from the Wildstorm comic series that fans would love to see make an appearance in the games. And seeing as this zookeeper has the same name and job title, it's possible that we actually had him all along, but we never knew because of his last name change and because he barely makes an appearance in this scenario. If you remember what he does in his side story, he goes over to gather weapons by himself to fend off against every infected zoo creature, taking down infected prairie dogs, snakes, and gorillas, creatures that we don't face off in this scenario. He wasn't even a hunter like Austin, the guy at the observation deck, and instead of hiding like that guy, he went out fighting to stop the infected zoo animals from attacking others. I'd like to think that some of the dead animals seen in the intro to the Wild Things scenario were infected and Patrick was the one who took them down himself. I mean, we do see a gorilla here, which again happens to be one of the zoo animals that we don't face off against in this scenario, but we do see Patrick Brady dealing with one of them in his side story. But anyways, there are multiple zoo employees that you find in the Wild Things scenario, and a few of them are wearing the same outfit as Patrick Reyes. Sadly, this zookeeper is already dead. His body can be found on top of the stage gate that must be activated to close and trap the elephant back in the stage, which can also end up being temporary. And once you activate it, the zookeeper's body will fall, giving you either a pack of ammo, a coin, or a lion emblem. So it's kinda hard to tell exactly which character is Patrick the zookeeper, but you'll find him at the elephant stage control room injured, but still alive. He's in a panicked state of mind, but if you meet Austin first, this will give him a little bit of hope that things will get better. He'll say, Austin is alive? If he's around, it'll be okay here. Take this. It's not much, but... Then he'll end up passing out mid-sentence. By the sound of his personality, it doesn't sound at all like Patrick Brady, especially since we know that Patrick Brady would not rely on someone else to handle the situation at the zoo. But what's worse for this guy is that Austin isn't bothering to even try to get back out there and hunt down the remaining infected zoo animals. So even though most employees at the zoo are relying on him to handle the situation, he just stays put, waiting for things to somehow get better without him. But seeing as Patrick Reyes has a different personality than Patrick Brady, then this could just be our hint that it's not the same person. I couldn't find any notes regarding Patrick's experience throughout the Outbreak, and none of the other survivors mention him either. You do find a note showing most of the zoo employee names, and he's on it, and when it comes to unlocking him as a playable character, you get both Patrick and Lloyd once you beat the scenario on any difficulty. and that's about it. So it's anyone's guess as to what happened to him. But what do you think? Is it possible that Patrick Reyes, the Zookeeper, is actually Patrick Brady, the Zookeeper, but with a different last name? I'm kind of hoping that it was him, but not the dead guy we see hanging on the elephant stage gate. Although it would be a neat surprise if we were meant to believe that he's dead because we confuse him for the dead Zookeeper on that elephant stage gate. But it was never confirmed because they don't show his face. And later, around the cancelled Outbreak File 3, we'd run into him and work together to escape throughout a new scenario. See, that's the beauty of his mystery, along with the countless stories and characters of the Outbreak series that they gave us. There are so many characters and a vast amount of details that come with every location we visit, as well as every survivor we bump into. And I think there are always possibilities to bring in side characters like the ones seen in the Wildstorm comics. Like with Dexter Whitlam, for example. That's a character with an interesting backstory that clearly deserved to be a part of the game series. I made a video on his story as well, and I recommend you check it out if you haven't, because the dude actually managed to infect himself with the G virus and reverse the effects, which is something no one, not even William Birkin, was able to do. And since he was in Raccoon City at the time, then there was even more reason to have him appear and take part in a scenario or two. Maybe even have him as the antagonist to Patrick's scenario. They should have at least mentioned him in a file or a diary found in the Raccoon University. A diary by Ruthie, the girl that was his only friend. Imagine if he was the one who helped create the nearly indestructible Nyx creature that appears at the end of the Outbreak series. That would have been something, right? But yeah, what do you think? Is it the same Patrick? Should it be him? And do you think the survivors seen in the Wildstorm comics should have played a part in the Outbreak series as well? Let me know in the comments. And be ready for more Outbreak videos coming sooner than you think. That's it for the video. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video, and if you truly enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content from this jabroni. I cover lore videos, facts, movies, and game reviews, all based on my favorite franchises such as Resident Evil, The King of Fighters, Mortal Kombat, Celebrity Deathmatch, The Mask, Dragon Ball, The Terminator, TMNT, and more. I'd like to give a very special thanks to all my Patreon supporters. This video is for you, and I hope you like seeing your name at the end credits of this video. And if you too would like to see your name at the end of a new vid, be sure to join my Patreon, where you also get to receive exclusive videos and updates such as new art panels for my Resident Evil Outbreak comic that I'm working on. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.